Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. This time I'd like to talk to you about romantic obsession. This has been something that's taken me a long time to figure out and come to terms with and figure out what was going on at various points in my life. And I think I've finally reached the point where I can attempt to begin to explain it to you. Okay. How has it come out in my own life? I think that's the best place to start, right? In my own romantic life, there have been people who I've developed obsessions with and people who I haven't developed obsessions with. I have spent a very long time trying to figure out what it was that caused me to develop some obsessions with some people, but not with others. The conclusion that I've reached is that all of this obsession comes from a place of fear and panic. Let me explain. The one common factor shared by everybody that I had an obsession with is that they didn't like me as much as I liked them. That's it. That's why it's never happened with anybody that I ended up in a reasonably long relationship with. I was comfortable. There was no fear there. Because what happens when somebody doesn't like you as much as you like them? They leave. Another word for leave is abandonment. And what's top of our list of things we're worried about? Abandonment, right? So if you're in a situation where you can feel that somebody doesn't want to be with you as much as you want to be with them, this fear starts to kick in. They're going to leave. They're going to abandon me. And then when that panic sets in, that's when, for me, the obsessive behavior starts. And that obsessive behavior comes out in a few various forms. There's things like bothering that person a lot, always being around, always being there. Doing things to engineer situations in which you will be with that person. And also talking about them all the time, thinking about them all the time. Just obsessing in the purest sense of the word. And it all comes from this place of don't leave me, don't go away. And it gets really weird when I tell you that it doesn't need to be somebody that you're in a relationship with. Okay? For somebody to not like you, they don't have to be in a relationship with you, right? Somebody can not like you and not have anything to do with you, or not even know you exist. And that can bring about the exact same set of problems. Not getting what you want, not getting the thing that you've built up in your head that you want, that you feel safe with. And so this panic sets in and you begin to obsess. And so you can obsess about somebody you're in a relationship with when things start going badly. You can obsess about somebody you're not in a relationship with. It's such a pain in the ass to deal with. And it all comes from, I think, this fear of this person doesn't like me, this person doesn't want to be with me. And then that panic sets in. It's all a very odd concoction of a situation to be in. And I've done some really cringeworthy things over the years. Lots of times people have, if when these relationships do eventually break down, the fallout can be emotionally catastrophic because that is literally somebody abandoning you. That is somebody saying, I don't love you, I don't want you, I don't want to be with you, I'm going, goodbye. That's it coming true. The biggest thing you've been worried about all along is actually happening. And maybe even worse, you know you've caused it to happen because you became an obsessive, clingy little prick. It's a self-destructive, self-fulfilling prophecy kind of situation, and it's horrible. And then it occurred to me that there are other elements to this as well. Another way that an obsession can build up. And it comes with, you have in your mind this image of the person that you want to be with. and the relationship that you want to have and all the things that includes. And you build it up so much that you sort of superimpose this vision of this relationship onto somebody else. To a certain extent, it doesn't even matter who you're with at this point. It doesn't matter who this person is, because their actual personality and traits have nothing to do with this. This is an internally built up, idealistic view of some dream relationship that you think you want to have. And you find a person and superimpose this view of the world onto them. And when they aren't that, and the reality of that delusion starts to break down and fall down, again, the panic sets in, because that's when you start to realize this person doesn't like me as much as I like them, because I like them all this much, because I built up this relationship in my head that doesn't exist. And we can link this through to a desire to rush things with BPD as well, can't we? I mean, like, I want to get on with it. I know the relationship I want to have. Let's just have that then. You there, person, you'll do. Come here, be like this. This is our relationship now. And that's not how the world works. That's not how relationships are built. You just superimpose this thing onto somebody and obsess over it and obsess over them. And then they aren't that, and they don't like you back. And so you start to panic even more when you sense this. And then that brings more obsession and brings the whole thing tumbling down. There's a fun thing to have to deal with. So, how do you actually deal with that? Well, am I somebody to be giving advice on this? Here's what I think. First of all, how much you're going to do this in the first place, this idealization, I think has a lot to do with where you are in your life at that particular moment and how comfortable you are with you as a person. That's a very important state to be in. Being comfortable with yourself, knowing that you are enough and being okay with you. And then wanting to add another person into your life to make it even nicer and better and happier. The idea of having a goal in mind and then looking for it and trying to find a specific thing, that's going to bring problems. And you kind of have to let go of that and say that maybe I'm not going to get this idealized relationship that I want. Maybe that doesn't exist. Maybe I don't even really want that. What I'm going to get is whatever I get with this person that I find that makes me happy to be with. And you don't know what shape that's going to be or what that's going to look like until you find it. So if you go looking for something that you've imagined and trying to find people to fit into that box, you're only going to find a lot of disappointment and heartbreak. Because that person probably doesn't exist. They're an idealized person that you've made up in your head, and nobody's that good. Nobody's that perfect. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has shit we all have to deal with. And you don't imagine that stuff. You don't imagine compromises you'll make in your life and decisions you'll make differently because of this other person. All of this comes about because you're not sort of happy with yourself. You need to be happy with who you are. And then just find somebody to enhance that, not this idealized person that doesn't exist. It's difficult to let go of it. It's like a trust fall, but it's a trust fall into life, which is a terrifying thing. Like, you're going to trust that I'm going to abandon these plans, this idea, and just fall backwards, and life is going to catch me. I'm going to end up meeting somebody and I'm going to be happy with somebody and I will have a life I enjoy with that person. But who? Not that person that I've decided it's going to be. You have to just fall back and let life catch you, because it's going to have ups and downs and you're not going to get what you want and it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And obsessing over somebody is really bad for you. You need to get to a place of happiness in yourself and not build up idealized relationships. That, I think, is the key to avoiding this. And also, learn to read the warning signs, right? If someone doesn't like you as much as you like them, there's an imbalance here and something's going to go potentially very wrong, right? Yeah, people move at different speeds in relationships, and as long as you're in the same sort of area, things are okay. But if you're racing off far ahead of somebody and you can sense that they're feeling uncomfortable with that, etc., you need to look at these warning signs and say, first of all, are you dialing it up too much? Are you becoming obsessed? Are you behaving in a way that is not calm and is not reasonable and is not restrained and dignified? Maybe a bit panicky. And also, maybe look at why that is, because maybe if you're feeling like that, maybe this person isn't for you, right? It tends to go well when things go well. Like, it's easy, you know. And so if you're having to really panic and obsess and deal with a fear of somebody leaving you because you can sense that they don't really like you, what are you still doing there? What are you that desperate to find this idealized mythical relationship that you're willing to try so much with somebody that doesn't like you in that way? It's okay if somebody doesn't like you. It might be disappointing, but to be fair, at first that's really all it should be, right? Until you're in a proper relationship, until you really mutually develop feelings with somebody, surely the most anyone should be able to do with you is really disappoint you. Because people have a right to not like you. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you're not worthy of love or that somebody shouldn't like you. It doesn't mean that they're wrong to not like you. They're allowed to do that. And it doesn't mean you're bad. So all of these negative feelings that can come with realizing that somebody doesn't like you as much as you like them, it's your brain telling you things. It's important information to have. We just interpret it incorrectly. We just somehow managed to get it wrong there. I don't know what to tell you. But you can see these signs. You can feel it coming on. You just need to learn to react. This is a complicated topic, and it touches back on so many things that we've talked about already. With the fear of abandonment, and the panic, and the clinginess, and this not being sure in ourselves, not being happy about ourselves. If you aren't happy about yourself, another person isn't going to help that. That's generally the case. You can be happy in yourself without another person. You can still want to be with another person and find another person and still be happy and comfortable in your own world, in your own self. It doesn't mean you have to be isolated or stay that way. But it will help with this panic and this fear. A bit of self-confidence helps with a lot, and I know it can be difficult to come by sometimes. But remember that you are enough, and you absolutely deserve love as much as anybody deserves love. And try not to panic. I think that's all of it. We'll see how that goes. You take care. I'll see you later. Bye.